Hello, and welcome to Beyond the Chat, where we introduce you to the coolest cats and kittens that we know, and that would be our guests from the CM World Twitter chats. I am Monina Wagner. I'm the community manager for the Content Marketing Institute. Clearly, I just read an article on Joe Exotic. Really don't know where that cool kittens came from. If you followed us over from the Twitter chat, thank you so much. If you're new to CMI, our mission is to advance the practice of content marketing. So we do that with our daily blog. We do that with our events like Content Marketing World and Content Tech Summit. We do that with our consulting work. And of course, we do it with live streams and also our weekly chats. Today, our guest is Kendall Aldridge. I am so excited to have her with us today. Kendall is the marketing manager at OnePitch. She is one of a two-person team. And what is incredible is that she grew their blog 125% in 6 months. So with that, I would love to welcome Kendall. Kendall, thanks for being on the show.
Thanks for having me. I'm so excited to be here. It's really an honor.
How did you think the Twitter chant went earlier?
I loved it. I think that pillars are something that a lot of marketers don't take advantage of enough, especially for small teams. It's a really manageable way to hit that content and really get people on the site and kind of build your authority. So I'm glad that we could bring that to light.
And if you weren't able to join us for the Twitter chat, we will have a recap up later this week on the Content Marketing World blog. So don't miss it. So Kendall, 125% growth. That is astronomical. That is fantastic to hear. But I'd love to take us back. So what really inspired you to get into content marketing? Was your journey supposed to be that way? It was something that you had planned, or were you interested in something else and kind of fell into this?
So I'm coming up on my 2-year anniversary at OnePitch. I started as an intern, and pretty much everything I was doing was more social media related. And then I came on full time and my role really completely shifted to everything marketing. So that was email, that was social, that was kind of some design stuff, that was content. And our blog initially was very interview focused, and we saw a lot of return from that. We love storytelling, we love highlighting people. So that was really important to us. But something that we kind of saw was missing was that need for the educational content. And once we kind of started getting a bit more bandwidth within our team, that's when I really started to plan out that strategy and say, we really need to hone in on this. This is what we need to go after. That's where that value is going to come from. And luckily it worked. So it's great to see.
Well, one of the things that you do at OnePitch is you guys produce a podcast, which is Coffee with a Journalist. So will you tell us a little bit about how that kind of fits into your strategy?
Yeah, so Coffee kind of came about, it started last year. It feels so long ago, but it started last year. But it was the same type of thing. We saw an opportunity to tell the story of those journalists and really share that with our audience, because that was something that wasn't going on. That was something that we didn't really see in the market. So that's how that podcast came about. And what would happen is we would, syndicate that across a lot of the streaming channels. We would put it on YouTube. We would create a transcription with the blog. That's changed a few times. So now we really highlight the quotes and things that they've said. But that just kind of goes across everything. We have our newsletter that you can subscribe to. We post it on social. We post highlights. So it's really just grown from there.
So with the podcast, you have come across some pretty influential journalists. So I'm going to put you on the spot here. Who's one journalist that really just stands out for you? And what's something that they said, one insight that they might have shared that spoke to you as a content marketer?
I think something, and this kind of goes back to some of our beginning blogs, but Lexi Savides, she is a huge journalist. She does a ton of videos and things. And I think that the thing that kind of set her apart, and this goes with marketing, is follow where your audience is. For her, a lot of that, and this goes for a lot of journalists, they're cross platforms. They're not just reading blogs. They're not just, looking at Instagram. They want to see things in a different way. And so that, I think that's really valuable for all markets, is being able to present things in a way that is valuable to who you're marketing and who your audience is.
So when we talk about how you've worked with journalists, and of course you've worked with content marketers. You're likely reading a lot, you're listening to a lot of stuff, you are watching a lot. Let's start with what makes a good article. What really kind of gets to you?
So I think the biggest thing is answering a question. If you can give value through answering a question that people are asking, and you can bring in some key figures in your industry, whether that's stats or, a quote from somebody, that's where that value is. Because when people are going to read blog posts, they're asking a question. They're finding you through asking a question, or they want to know something that maybe they didn't realize they needed to know. So for me and for OnePitch, the biggest thing has just been able to really hone in on value in answering what people want to hear and bringing that to the table.
So what are some blogs that, what are must reads for you every day? And same with, what are you listening to? What are you watching? What is something that you put it on the calendar and you make time for?
So I am subscribed, and this is something that our co-founder really started from the beginning with me, is he said, you need to get on the newsletters. You need to know what people are talking about, what they're asking. So for me, I'm subscribed to a lot of PR newsletters, a lot of marketing newsletters. So like PR Daily is one that I read every single morning. It comes in my inbox every morning. There are more marketing wise. I would say the Twitter chats are huge for us. That is something that we block off on our calendar every single day. I think we have them going like Monday through Thursday. So we really try to hone in on those. There's such great insights. And when people can come together, you hear ideas that aren't normally brought to the table. I do a ton of webinars. So whenever I see something interesting on marketing, that is something that I will absolutely put on my calendar and watch. I try to do 2 or 3 a month. Just because they're so valuable. But some months, like this past month, has been a little bit slower. But those are things that I do really invest time in watching and learning and keeping an eye on.
Well, so our Twitter chats, and we are grateful that you make it every week to the CM World Twitter chat. But our Twitter chats, if people are not familiar with it, we fill it with 7 questions because that hour just goes way quick. So we wanted to be able to ask our final questions on the show beyond the chat. So Kendall, this is question 8 for you. On your Twitter bio, you call yourself a decently average barista. So 1, we want to know why, but 2, we want to know what is your go-to coffee house drink?
So I have invested, let me give some background. I've invested in so many coffee making tools. I've invested in a foamer, a new Keurig, and I had this idea that this would really make me a better, coffee chef, if you may say. But somehow, and I think that I'm not bad. I don't think I'm bad. But anytime I go to make coffee for somebody else, I've been told it's not great. So I guess it's very subjective. It's very subjective to to who is trying it. So that is why I say decently average. I should add the word subjective because it really is based on the person. But I think currently, actually, my go-to, I've strayed a little bit away from coffee, and I'm very into matcha lattes. I love them. The thing is, I don't make them well. So when I do want them, I have to go get one. But I'm really into them. I love them. But at the same time, coffee will always be my number one for sure.
Well, Kendall, with that, I want to thank you for spending a few minutes with us beyond the chat. Can you tell everyone where they can find you online?
So I am always active on Twitter and LinkedIn. We always do have, if you're interested in OnePitch, we, like I said, do have the newsletter for Coffee with a Journalist. We have a weekly, monthly newsletter that you can subscribe to if you want to learn more about kind of what we do. But I'm always open to conversation. I love connecting. So definitely reach out on messages and I will get back to you if you have any questions.
And that is how Kendall and I met, is because she reached out to me in a direct message on Twitter. So I am happy that she did. Again, if you missed Kendall's Twitter chat, we will have a recap up on the Content Marketing World blog. And with that, that is this week's Beyond the Chat. Thanks again for joining us. Stay safe, be well, take care of each other.
Thank you.